very well, I can almost assure you that there are going to be times where you fall, where you do not succeed, where you fail. But as one of my great teachers told me a long time ago, when we came in for our first ministry training class, the first thing he told us is, all of you guys are going to fail in ministry. You're going to fail, all of you.
Right.
He said, but the important thing to know is that failure is not fatal. Failure is not fatal.
Nice.
Failure is not final. Amen. Failure is a building block to success and achievement, because we learn through our failures and our shortcomings. And then the last piece of that scripture, it talked about two is better than one because two can keep each other warm.
That's right.
It's talking about survival. It's talking about being close-knit, being intimate. Not necessarily as intimate as a husband and wife, though there are husband and wives in the building, right? It's talking about an intimate knowing one another, knowing your brothers, knowing your sisters, so that we can tell when each other are going through things, or we can trust each other. We all need somebody that we can talk to and let know when we're going through something.
Amen.
But we can't waste our time letting people know that we're going through something or asking for advice only to refuse the very advice that we sought in the first place. Because what it causes people to do who give the advice or who you trusted, it causes them not to trust you. It causes them to back up because now you've hurt their feelings. You've kind of built a wall. So don't ask if you're not ready to listen.
Right.
The word says to be quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to anger.
Right.
So with that, just really quickly, you guys have heard a lot of my testimony, but the one thing that I'll share you is this, because this is something that I left out of my testimony every time that I've shared it. I can give countless times where the devil been trying to take me out since I was a kid.
Amen. Tell it.
Early in life, in my first 3 years, I was in a head-on collision, riding with my mother's boyfriend. He fell asleep at the wheel. The car veered into the other lane into oncoming traffic and was in a head-on collision. And by the grace of God, the ambulance, they didn't even have to take me to the hospital. They took me to my mother's work. The devil started early, though. I can recall, through my own stupid acts, being in several other car accidents, a couple of them after getting saved. One which the car went down through a ditch. It flipped over at least 7 or 8 times. It went down an embankment, flipping over and back up the other side of the embankment and continued to flip. I remember the sound as all the windows shattered. It was like a big major pop, you know what I'm saying, all at one time. And by some state of a miracle, I took my seatbelt off and got out of that car and ran. Proceeded to run because I was running from the police. And I didn't have a scratch. They took me to Madigan Army Hospital and held me. I tried to refuse treatment. They took me to Madigan Army Hospital anyway. Had an MP in the hospital room and an MP outside the door guarding the door because I had just committed 7 federal crimes. By the grace of God, I didn't have a scratch. The worst that I got through that accident was a whooping from God and the most painful experience I ever had in my life, which was having a catheter. I'll never do that again. No catheters for me.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm sure you women get catheter. So needless to say, that wasn't necessarily enough for me. I can also recall going back to the neighborhood at one time early on after I had just gotten saved. I remember going back to the neighborhood pretty early on after I got saved. I relapsed and I was doing the wrong thing again. And I remember one of the guys that used to run in the gang that I was in, he had transformed basically to another hood. And his boy was this guy that my family and me had gotten into it with some years before. And I guess they remembered that. So I'm standing on the block with a 9mm to my head, and the dude he's freaking out, you know. And it's by the grace of God, even in that situation, that I'm still here. You know what I'm saying? I've been through so much. I put myself in so many situations.
Right.
And I'm not telling you guys to go out and put yourself in these situations to test God, because the word says, thou shalt not tempt the Lord your God.
Amen.
Right.
But I'm telling you that God is faithful, that his grace is amazing, and that we need to take advantage of the opportunity that we have right
now.
here.
Hallelujah.
Amen.
We have people that love
Thank you,
us
Jesus.
and care about us enough to do the uncomfortable things.
Amen. Amen.
And tell us about ourselves and give us opportunity to really soul search, to see if we really knew the way in the first place. And if not, let's just glean the information that we have in front of us, man. We have some great leaders, starting from the top with Apostle and Pastor Kathy. They have a real heart for each and every one of us. Trust me. Amen?
Yes.
Trust me. They will.
Amen.